When are you going to decide whether you're running for president?
You know, I'm going to decide when it feels right for me to decide, because
Still by the end of this year?
well, you know, certainly not before then. I just want to kind of get through this year, travel around the country, help in the midterm elections in the fall, and then take a deep breath and kind of go through my pluses and minuses about what I will and will not be thinking about as I make the decision.
But probably not announced until next year?
I'm not positive about that, but that's probably likely.
There was joy and glee in the camp for those who believed beyond the shadow of any doubt that Hillary Clinton was going to be the Democratic presidential nominee come 2016. Who else could possibly create and maintain such incredible momentum simply by speaking on issues, denying she would be a candidate, hinting she might be a candidate, and then follow that with a book tour? Can't miss. Let's back up a little. Maybe it did. Welcome back to Midpoint. Editor-in-Chief of StopNetRegulation.org and founder and president of Less Government, Seton Motley, joins us today. Seton, thanks so much for being with us again.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, sir.
All right, let's see now. There are those who say that it's been a complete and absolute bust. There are those who say, wait a minute, Hard Choices was a good read. It sold some copies, and it was absolutely what Hillary Clinton needed to do at this stage before getting towards the 2016 possibilities here. What's your take?
Well, I do recall that in the first couple of weeks, the book was selling less than the green smoothie diet book or something like that.
Not taking any shots at the green algae people here,
No,
of course. I get you.
This is nothing against the green smoothie book, but you would think that the next president of the United States, Miss Inevitable, would outstrip it on the Amazon list, but apparently not. I think what you're also seeing is the proponents of her candidacy and people who think she's inevitable and is going to win are saying, this is good. She's getting all of this out of the way now so that later she can just focus on, but that's missing the fundamental point here. This was supposed to be this smooth book rollout, this smooth transition into the presidential campaign, and she keeps blowing herself up. This is not getting the dirt out. She's creating dirt as she goes. The whole, we were dead broke when we came out of the White House. We were in debt and this and that. That was not getting old dirt out. This was not Monica Lewinsky. This was not the nuts and sluts defense that she was trying to get out of the way now. This was brand new stuff that she just added to the heap of her damaged and demonstrates yet again that just because you marry political talent doesn't mean you have political talent.
All right, now let's talk about the money here right now, because according to the Wall Street Journal, the Clintons, Bill and Hillary, helped raise more than $1 billion from U.S. companies and industry donors during 2 decades of the national stage through campaigns, paid speeches, and a network of organizations advancing their political and policy goals. Okay, let's put that here as part of the fact. The whole dead broke comment that seems to be the one that people are talking about, was it simply just a flip comment that she was just making and really didn't mean to say dead broke, or was it simply just the fact that she wanted to overlook all the money they made? I mean, come on, Seton, there's got to be some truth in here somewhere.
Where? The fact of the matter is, this was a calculated. Everything about her is calculated. One of the reasons the book is tanked is because it was this every word, every jot and tittle was calculated down to the minutest fraction. And likewise, that comment was, I'm with the common man. I'm a populist. I understand the concerns of not having money. She hasn't had that concern in quite some time, as demonstrated by her daughter Chelsea Clinton saying, I can't bring myself to care about money. Well, it's easy to not care about money when you've never had to. And Chelsea Clinton has been raised in an environment where she's never had to worry about money. So now, of course, she doesn't. She gets paid $600,000 a year to do a story a week on MSNBC or whatever absurd workload she had.
Well, but again, let's take Chelsea Clinton out of this, because what she makes in her money is not really a part of the discussion.
Well, it is in the sense that they're trying to say they're dead broke, and Chelsea Clinton is raised in this environment where clearly she never experienced dead broke because she doesn't care about money. So I understand you want to keep the children out of it, but it is a part of Hillary Clinton, who's raised and spent tons of money, who got loans that we'll never get for homes after they left the White House, who, by the way, took $190,000 worth of stuff from the White House as she left. All of that to say, she doesn't live the life we do. And it's one thing to excoriate Mitt Romney, who never pretended to be anything but a very successful, very wealthy man. It's another thing to point at a woman who has had a similar life experience, other than the fact that he earned the money and she really didn't. For her to claim I'm dead broke, I know what it's like to be poor and be part of the commoner situation in the United States of America.
Okay, well, let's take that then, the comment itself, whatever it is, and however people feel about it. But let's ask a follow-up question to that. Because this is a book tour. We have plenty of time until we get to any actual running for president in 2016. There's lots of time here. Isn't it fair to say that America has sometimes the attention span of a gnat? And even though right now there are people hammering away at what she has said and it doesn't do any good at all, that you could quite frankly go underground for a couple of months, come back up, and America would forget a lot of this, wouldn't they?
Well, yeah, well, I think they'll forget the specifics. I don't think they'll forget the impression that someone leaves on them. And the impression of Hillary Clinton has been well viewed into the American psyche. And she's not very likable. Remember in the 2008 debate with Obama? Oh, you're likable enough, Hillary. She's not very likable. She's not very honest. She's been caught lying time and time again. Sir Edmund Hillary, she was named after Sir Edmund Hillary. She was shot at on the tarmac in Bosnia when she was actually greeted by a 9-year-old girl with flowers on the tarmac. Even if this specific fumble, self-inflicted wound, won't be remembered a couple months from now, certainly 2 years from now, the reason it's gotten such legs is because it fits the narrative that already exists with regard to Hillary Clinton.
Isn't it true, though, it's also a narrative, though, that her opponents want to continue to push forward?
Well, but it's certainly, look, it's one, I used to joke about Mitt Romney. Someone besides Mitt Romney has to call him Reagan-esque. Yes, the Democrats the Republicans want to foster this a negative reputation about Hillary. But as we started out discussing, she's added to that ammunition just with this book tour with her dead broke comment. It's one thing if you make a mistake. It's another thing if you keep making mistakes that play to type. And that was yet another mistake that plays to the typecast of the image of Hillary Clinton, not just with Republicans, but I think the broader public.
Let's talk about what some people have said might be her strengths and weaknesses come 2016, should she indeed decide to run. There's a number of reports out there talking about the fact that the number of black voters who defeated her in 2008 would make her win again in 2016. There's a thinking process that she doesn't really need the liberal vote at this time, that she needs to go after the African-American vote. In your opinion, true or false?
Well, I think, she's going to lose maybe 3 or 4 or 5 or 6% of the black vote from what Obama got, but that's still above 90%. So I think she can do what conservatives have long been accusing the left of doing, which is taking the black vote for granted, because there's not a whole lot of gold to be mined over there that isn't already in their back pocket. So she needs the liberal vote because that is the activist base. The Democrats, the black vote is there for them for sure in huge numbers, but they don't block walk. They don't man phone banks to the degree that the leftist base does. That's why what happened in Mississippi, I think, is going to be so damaging for Republicans in November. Is they took a flamethrower to the activist base, the people that do all the stuff. Look, you can lose an election long before Election Day. You need people to man phone banks and walk neighborhoods and knock on doors and say, this is why you need to vote for this person. And it's not the moderates. It's not the middle of the road people. It's the left and right base that do those sorts of things. So she does need them, but I think at the end of the day, she's certainly leftist enough. And Elizabeth, I think a well-timed endorsement from Elizabeth Warren takes care of that problem.
1 minute we have left here. The Quinnipiac University poll that is out today says Barack Obama is the worst president since World War II. Ronald Reagan would have been better. Romney would have even had been better at this point. Is this something that works for or against her if she does indeed decide to run?
It is very hard to run from the same party after a two-term presidency that's been as bad as this one is. Ask John McCain after 2 terms of Bush, when 6.5 years, 7 years were really good outside the Iraq War, which is a separate issue. But the economy was good for most of his presidency, and the R after his name killed him. the foreign policy of the Obama administration is awful, for which Hillary Clinton is largely responsible. The domestic policies of Barack Obama are horrible. I don't know how enthusiastic I would be to run with a D after my name to succeed Barack Obama. That would not be very fun.
Seton, one of these days we have to get you to tell us exactly what's on your mind, and that is going to be a fun segment indeed. It's always a pleasure, Seton. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Coming up next, have you ever wanted to stand around and watch those buildings in a controlled demolition? You're watching, you're a long ways away, you stand out there, you watch, they tell you, here comes the explosion. What could possibly go wrong? Why do you think we're here? It's only in Outland, my friends, and only here on Midpoint.